Google is actually so annoying. I understand they want to make sure that like no one's trying to get into my account, but it keeps asking me if I logged in on the same fucking laptop that I log into every time. I think it's because I have several different Gmail accounts on several different pieces of technology, and so Google is just like, you spreading me too thin. I don't fucking know. Killing me is an overstatement. I'm being very dramatic. Hi, I'm Paige, and today I am talking about seeking external validation, how it relates to people pleasing, and how I am learning to walk out of that place. You see me looking to my left, that I'm looking at my laptop. It has everything that I'm going to say, because I want to make sure that I'm coming off, well, I want to make sure that I am speaking my mind and speaking genuinely. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. I want to speak my mind, and I want to speak genuinely. Like this card says. Oh, jeez. Wait. How do I adjust this? Oh. I'll read this card and then we'll get into the actual video. It says fifth chakra, throat chakra, truthfulness. I am truthful and honest with myself. I aim to overcome any fears about speaking my truth, and I speak in a loving, considerate way. My personal empowerment comes from telling the truth. Oh my God, I just forgot about my mic. I'm so sorry. Everything I was saying could not be heard. And I'm so sorry about that. I was reading this. How do I adjust the lighting? I don't know how to do that. Okay, I'll learn how to do it. It says, okay, so I'll start from the beginning again. It says, I am truthful. Oh, fifth chakra, throat chakra, truthfulness. I am truthful and honest with myself. I aim to overcome any fears about speaking my truth, and I speak in a loving, considerate way. My personal empowerment comes from telling the truth and letting others know who I am. Excuse me. Others will be positively uplifted when they hear my truth, and I take care not to exaggerate in order to impress them. I am careful not to let my mind mislead me and in turn others. I avoid gossiping or speaking negatively of others. That was from my chakra wisdom card. I think that'd be really cute if I like pull one of those before I get into the video. That would be kind of cute. Okay. So, like I said in the beginning, killing me is an overstatement. I'm just being very dramatic. Again, my name is Paige, and today we're going to be talking about seeking external validation and how it relates to people pleasing and how I'm learning to walk out of that place. I have been a person struggling with people pleasing and seeking external validation for a very long time. I wasn't really aware of it when I was doing it. I wasn't really aware of much of my mental health when I was very depressed. And that's just because the people around me, the systems that I had around me, just didn't promote like being concerned about your mental health. Like people would ask, "Are you okay?" But like when you would get honest about the shit, people don't know how to necessarily help you, and they just kind of be like, "Damn, that sucks." It's like people don't really know how to help others when we truly are suffering. And that sucks. But yeah, I've been suffering, or not suffering, but I've been struggling a lot with people pleasing and seeking external validation. It's a very dangerous road to go down, and I was down that road for a lot of my life. It's kind of how I survived, really. So the structure Oh, also I'm looking at my laptop. So the structure of this video is first we will revisit my past and discover how I created the habit of people pleasing and seeking external validation. Then the next segment will be about how I am overcoming it. So, this idea came to me because I realized how I was being inhibited by constantly wanting external validation. I want to talk about this and help others witness these things within themselves and also start to take the steps to heal from that behavior. Because that behavior truly doesn't get us anywhere. I thought that, because I was being so kind, so helpful, so generous, that I was actually being of help to others, but I wasn't. I wasn't really. I was overextending myself and really extending myself thin. And sometimes people just need to do things on their own by themselves for the experience. And yeah, I just spent too much of my life being too helpful, and it honestly wrung me dry. Like now I'm like extremely selective about who I am showing my kindness to and my generosity to, because it has been taken advantage of in the past, and that sucks. But also I played a role in that, but I also really wasn't aware. It was just how I was surviving. So seeking external validation can be terrible sometimes because you're trying to fill a void that no amount of compliments or praise could ever fill. And for me, when it came to I'm going to use high school a lot as an example in this, because in high school I genuinely don't think I was doing anything that brought me happiness, right? I was doing everything so that I could graduate high school, so that my teachers would be proud of me, so that my mother would be proud of me, so that other family members would be proud of me. I wasn't doing it because I genuinely wanted to. And that is a huge problem. It led to a lot of unhappiness within me. I was very depressed because I felt like nothing I cared about mattered because I was doing everything for everyone else. And that is not fair. The void that I had inside me, it didn't matter how many times people called me smart, gifted, or intuitive, or it didn't matter how many positive compliments I got. I already had a very low self-esteem, and no external validation is going to fix that. Now it's all about something more internal. I have to start looking deeper within to really figure out why my self-esteem has completely crumbled. I know this because I have spent years of my life being in this cycle of people pleasing and only doing that as a form of self protection, like I've been saying. Through my childhood experiences, I learned that if I am proactive and generous, people will love me and give me the attention that I want. This is a terrible cycle to be in because you become dependent upon someone else validating you, never learning to love yourself from within, but only out. And by that, I mean that I, for a very long time, just couldn't really think about my personality in a way that others have told me who I was. And I spent so many years in my life never truly thinking about myself, really. Like, I spent so much of my life being on autopilot and kind of just not really thinking about myself or taking myself into much consideration. And so it led to a lot of just like negative habits. I didn't really understand where it was stemming from and why it was a problem. And so I really want to call this stuff out because we could be other people in the world could be suffering or struggling in the same way that I was. And I want them to know that they don't have to keep going in the cycle, because you're just not going to be happy. And we deserve happiness, especially in this capitalist, life draining, soul sucking system that we live in. It really sucks to live in America. Like, it really sucks. Next thing I go on to say is that I don't know about you, but that is not how I desire to love myself. I don't want to love myself from just an external perspective of what other people have told me who I am. I want to know who I am. I want to put characteristics on myself, right? I want to be able to sit down, think about myself, and say, yes, this is who I am, and not say, and not be saying yes because others told me that that's who I am. If I hope you understand what I'm saying. My self worth should never depend on how generous or how hardworking I am. And when we live in a society of capitalism, a lot of our self worth will feel like it kind of will feel like it depends on how hardworking we are, because capitalism is all about high productivity. The more products you can get done in a matter of time, the more money can be made. And so we start to become little capitalist, I don't know, people, and we start to overwork ourselves, and we feel like if we're not working or being productive, then we're just the worst person ever. And that is not real, true, or realistic. We don't exist to be highly productive, or to we don't exist to do that. I know that for sure. Eventually, I stopped feeling good about the compliments people gave me. They were false, and I didn't feel connected to the compliments I would receive. They revolved around things I was falsely identifying with. And I only falsely identified with these things because I thought it was right. I spent so much of my childhood literally trying to make others happy because I was surrounded by nothing but unhappiness and rage. And when you grow up in a toxic household, or when you grow up in an environment where people just aren't happy with themselves, that spreads like water. And when I was growing up, a lot of my caregiver wasn't someone who was very happy with her life or things that were happening in her life. And that really spread onto me and made me feel like I had some sort of duty that I needed to do. And this started the people pleasing and the constantly seeking external validation, because I felt that I needed to be like on top of things. I felt that I needed to constantly, I don't know, just be like sort of like the leader and make sure that everything and everyone was okay. And that is a lot for a child to do, but I took it on because I cared so much about my mother, and I cared so much about just making sure she was happy herself, if you understand what I mean. I keep looking at the camera and myself. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I look fucking amazing. I must look at myself. I must. But yeah, I was just a sweet little child. I wanted everyone around me to be happy, but unfortunately, people were not. And so I felt the need to start doing acts of service, and I started to eventually that just started to be taken advantage of by me, by others unintentionally. Like it just started. I was constantly operating for everyone else but not myself. Throughout high school, 90% of things I did was to make others proud and to receive praise, because I knew certain things people expected from me, and I wanted to fulfill that expectation. It felt like a duty. If I didn't fulfill it, I would be in huge trouble. So I did what any desperate child would do, and I became the goody two shoes, the teacher's pet. I felt that every adult in my life had authority to discipline me, and I became extremely diligent to avoid being disciplined. Because for me, every time I was disciplined, it wasn't in a helpful, kind way. And I feel like we can discipline people in a way where they know that the action that they did was inappropriate, but at least they don't have to leave with their self esteem being low or thinking negative thoughts about themselves. From a very young age, I started having very negative thoughts about myself. So I started seeking love and positivity outside of myself. And I don't think that was very helpful. I think I should have, first of all, I should have had not should have, not saying like it was my fault, but like I wish I would have been instilled with more positive thoughts about myself so that I wouldn't spend so much of my life constantly trying to do things for others so that I can receive compliments, love, and praise. Just wasn't a good place to be in, and I'm glad I'm making my way out of it because I would have spent so much more of my time trying to please others, and it's just a dangerous path to go down. Yeah, every time I was disciplined, it was with some sort of like weapon, like a belt, or some people even got like a switch, or some people would, some parents would tell their child to go outside and grab a stick. Like, not you making your child choose their weapon of them getting a spanking. I don't think that's insane. I think that is very sad. I think that is very like that is not a good thing to be doing to our children. We should not be putting our hands on our kids because it makes your child feel unloved. I spent so many years of my life genuinely not feeling loved by my caregiver. And honestly, she could say she loves me all she wants, but I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And I'm not saying that to cause sadness, but this is why you treat your kids with a certain amount of respect, love, and care, or else they will turn their backs on you. I don't think we should be disciplining our children with belts or anything like that. And because every time I got disciplined, I left with my feelings hurt and I left with a lower self esteem. I just didn't want to get disciplined anymore. I wanted to make sure that I never had to get yelled at again. I never had to get a spanking again. So I became the most proactive person I could become. I made sure that I didn't talk to my mom in any sort of crazy way. I made sure that I didn't talk to my teachers in any sort of crazy way. Like, I doubled down and became a goody two shoes. I literally became a people pleaser. Like, there's no other word to describe who and what I became. And I was stuck in that cycle from the moment it began to the moment I graduated high school. And by the time I graduated high school, I was like, I fucking hate doing shit for others. Fuck that acts of service shit. I'm doing everything for myself. And me and my therapist, we were talking about how I went from like 0 to 100 on that. Like, or how I went from one extreme to the next extreme, you know. The first extreme was just doing anything and everything for everyone. The next extreme was doing nothing. I didn't want to do shit for anybody, and I get really annoyed when people ask me to do things for them. So that's where you can tell where I'm at. I'm trying to figure out how to balance it because at the end of the day, I am a kind, generous, loving person. I'm very nurturing. I mean, I have 4 cancer placements. I I am literally I have that motherly energy. And so I want to find a balance because I love people and I love caring for people and I love being generous and I love just being helpful for others. But at the same time, I'm still trying to figure out how to go about it in a way that isn't taking too much energy out of myself. Obviously, all this stuff I went through wasn't good. And of course, I did not learn safe ways to navigate throughout this world. So that's why I spent so many years struggling with depression, low self esteem, anxiety, binge eating, the list goes on. But don't fret, I have systems in place to protect me from ever falling that low again. I am only 21 and I feel that I've been through a lot and I want to save others some pain. I want to give guidance to others through my own life experiences. That's why I'm so open about my childhood. And not only am I only so open about my childhood because, firstly, I am black, African American, and there is a lot of parental issues in the black community that parents are not working on or fixing. Or, no, that's very generalized. There are some people in the black community who are not being the best parents that they can be for several reasons. We have some people literally are on like welfare. Like, some people literally depend on the government for everything. So what makes you think they have time to actually properly raise their child. Like some people literally are going through so much that they cannot be a good parent, and that sucks. It really does. And I don't have anything to help people like that who are in a situation like that. But I do think that patience is key when it comes to raising your child and treating your children with respect. I think patience is key. Like I said, I'm only 21. And so I feel like I spend a lot of time thinking about my life, thinking about my past, and trying to heal from it so that I can be sort of like a wise person that others can come to and ask for advice. I'm not a therapist. I'm not anything like that. I'm not a doctor. If anything, I'm just a spiritual advisor because I do read tarot and things like that. Yeah, I just want to use my YouTube channel as a safe place for people to come and talk about these dark or negative experiences and start to heal from it. I want to give people just a place where they can talk openly about their pain and start to heal from it. And I mean this for anyone. I don't care gender, race, or about what you did in your past. I just care about helping people move on from what is holding them back. Like healing from our past. I think some of us don't care enough about it, and we get caught up in these experiences, repetitive experiences. Like sometimes we get caught up with the same partner, or they come in a different body, but they treat you just like your last partner did. And it's because we aren't looking at the past. We aren't looking at what habits that we have and how they're following a pattern. And I want to help others start doing that. And yeah, because I think that's something that's very important. I feel like we should be able to analyze ourselves so that we can stop operating from a toxic place. We spend so much time in these bodies, in these vessels. How is it that we aren't analyzing ourselves and we aren't thinking of ourselves in a complex way? And this is why I love shadow work and I love the idea of self-improvement, because I like to analyze myself and analyze others and sort of fix what's wrong in our lives. I know that not everything can be perfect, and I realize that this idealism that I have is stemming from wanting things to be perfect. But, that's another thing that I had to sit down with myself and be honest with about. Some of my ideas are just aiming too much for perfection, and that is not realistic. But I do think that I can expect people to be aware of their toxic traits and be working on them. And that's why I don't have a lot of friends or know a lot of people, because I refuse to put up with toxicity, and I refuse to put up with people who remain ignorant to their toxic habits, especially because I am on a journey of healing from my past and healing from the pain that toxic people have put on to me. So yeah, why would I want to surround myself with people who don't care about becoming better or being a better individual? That sounds like willingly putting myself in a bowl of leeches. Like, why would I do that? It's very dumb to me. I don't want to put up with people who are toxic. It's just a waste of time. So now it's time to move on to the second segment of this video, titled Work-Life Hindrance. So, firstly, what really got me thinking about this seeking external validation thing is because I was on the Pattern app. And if you know your birth time and where you were born and the actual date of your birthday, some people literally don't know the date. They don't know where they were born, because some people get put into adoption systems and they don't keep up with that. So, like, just weird things happen. But I'm not talking about that, or I'm not trying to talk about that. But if you know all of that information and you like astrology or you want to get into it, I suggest get on the Pattern app, CoStar, cafe astrology. You could put your like birthday into that, and they'll like tell you about your basically break down your entire chart. I wrote down like everything about my chart in here. Um, and I used the Cafe Astrology app to help me. No, not the app, just the website. But yeah, I was on the pattern app, and one of the cycles that I am going through is called Approach to Work. And I think a lot of people are going through this one because you can like go on the pattern app and see people talking about this specific cycle that they're in, and there's a lot of people going through it. It's a cycle that comes every 19 years. That's what it said on the pattern app. But yeah, the pattern app is basically just a different form. It's like it's showing us astrology. It's breaking down astrology in a way I've never seen before. The pattern app is actually kind of complicated to explain. Like I don't really know how to explain the pattern app. It's really just another way of absorbing astrology and understanding how the planets and the stars are interacting with your life and playing a role in your life. And the pattern app is just very useful because it like shows you different patterns in your life. It shows you like where you are in this time of the world. Just get the pattern app and you'll understand what it is. Like for me, I can't put any words to it. I don't know how to explain it with words. Yeah, I was on there. I was looking at the Approach to Work cycle that I was in, and it really got me thinking. It was actually the source of inspiration for this video because I get a reminder about it often, and they're like, it says something like, use this time. Wait, can I get on the pattern app on my laptop? Nope. Why is it not why is it not computer compatible? But I'm gonna put a screenshot in of like what it says and like the reminder that I get often, and it put anxiety. It like sends anxiety down my back because it's like it says something along the lines like, this is a time for you to like really be thinking about what inspires you and motivates you to work. And I have not been thinking about that type of stuff. And so I'm like, well, damn, let me get on top of that. So I really just sat down and started to think about it. It was also how I came to the conclusion that I was seeking external validation in the first place. I realized that I wasn't getting any work done because everything that I was doing, like work wise, I like to create. I created this. Like I like to create. And so I'm creating this video right now. But because I like to create, I constantly am in my mind thinking like, okay, is this good enough for the people outside of me? My approach to work has basically been trash since I graduated from high school. I wanted to stop pleasing people. I was so over it. But that meant I lost a lot of motivation to work since so much of it relied on something external. So I want to be the type of person that works really hard, and I want to give something my all. And so this means that I really need to double down on my work life. I want to be an entrepreneur. So I started looking for holes in my work lifestyle and how I approached work. And I really started to analyze everything about my work lifestyle, and I started to think about what inspires me to work. I said that weird. Through this, I found out that I relied too much on external validation and monetary gain to motivate me. Now, I mean, realistically, think about it. We live in a capitalist society. When you are trying to start your own business, at least for me, I was constantly thinking everything that I create needs to be fucking amazing or it's not good enough. And on top of that, it also needs to be like worthy of being sold. This was inhibiting me when it comes to work and getting shit done because I cared too much about what people were thinking about my work. And on top of that, I didn't have any faith in what I was creating. And that type of shit just can't fly no more. Not in my life. I refuse to be 30 years old and still worrying so much about what people think of me and what I create. I'd rather fucking die. And I feel like I can't really accomplish anything if I'm doing it for a monetary gain. Like, I can't create something if I'm doing it for monetary gain or if I'm doing it to please others. I feel like no good work comes out of that. So seeking external validation was hindering me because I couldn't get any work done, like I was saying. I kept thinking my work needed to be good enough to appease the masses. I needed to figure out why this was bothering me so much. So I sat down with myself and got really fucking honest. So I asked myself these 4 questions. The first one is, in what ways can my work life improve? The second question I asked, what habits in my career life aren't working anymore? 3, what makes me feel inspired to work? 4, why do I struggle to get work done? But you, yes, you, grab your journal. If you ain't got one, grab a piece of paper and answer these damn questions. If you ain't got no damn paper or no damn pencil, I guess go on your notes and answer these damn questions. I answered these questions honestly, and a lot of growth came from the answers I provided. Shortly after I answered these questions, I planned for my business and for YouTube and other social media platforms. Like, when I have a whole planning journal. This is my planning journal. I write down every itinerary for the day. So, like, before I go to bed, I grab this journal and I write down everything that I'm going to do the next day so that when I wake up, I'm not fucking confused and I'm like, oh shit, what do I have to do? Because I'm not in high school anymore and I don't go to a 9-to-5 job. I am at home every day, and if I don't plan the night before, I'm just going to shit the day away the next day. I'm going to be like, what was I supposed to do? Like, I'm not going to care about any responsibilities. I don't know why I'm like this. I'm just like this, okay? So I have to I have to plan everything out. And, like, I really did. Hold on. I can show you guys. I don't even have to show you my journal. I get to show you my calendar. So this is my calendar. I'm not connected to my microphone anymore, so I'm basically fucking yelling. But this is my calendar, and like, I've broken everything down that I'm going to be doing. It probably looks very like, girl, what the fuck is on this shit? But if you, like, I don't know, do what I did, it will start to make sense. My calendar was probably the most confusing thing you've ever saw.
Editing Paige here, and honestly, through answering those questions, I didn't really explain how I came up with. I didn't explain why my calendar looked the way it did, but through answering those questions, it gave me a lot of inspiration to go ahead and start planning for the future and really taking control of the things that I want to make profit from. So, like, I started to really, after answering those questions, I went in depth and started to really think about what I wanted to do every week for YouTube. And I started to think about what I wanted to do every week for my business. And that was just like a general consensus of everything that I'm going to be doing. So what you saw on my calendar is like a daily thing of what I'm going to be doing, and it pertains to YouTube and my business.
I hope this video helped you realize some things within yourself, or at least got you thinking about yourself and your life. And if you enjoyed the video, please give me a like, a comment, and subscribe. Also hit that bell button so you know next time I post. And other than that, until next time, love, Paige.